Egypt flourished as a nation of pharaohs, pyramids, and secrets for more than 3,000 years. It continues to enthrall people worldwide with its imposing monuments, secret treasures, and mysterious texts. Beginning with number 10, the Great Sphinx, we unearth the most astounding findings that demonstrate the magnificence of this ancient civilization in this countdown of ancient top 10. Secrets of Egypt. Near Cairo, at the base of the pyramids, is the Great Sphinx. At 240 feet long, 60 feet high, and encased in riddles, it is the biggest statue ever cut from a single piece of stone. The age of the Sphinx was further called into question in the 1950s by further evidence. Rain has left water erosion lines on the Sphinx's body, but Egypt hasn't experienced that much precipitation in almost 9,000 years. Egyptian civilization was much older than originally believed, if these erosion markings were created 9,000 years ago, long before this region of Africa was a desert. The lighthouse at Pharos. The wise Sphinx is older than number 9 on our list, but there was no competition for height. The Pharos Lighthouse is it. This is 3rd century BC Alexandria, Egypt. Among the biggest cities in antiquity was this one. It was constructed around a naturally occurring deep harbor, where the Nile River empties into the ocean. An amazing lighthouse was built to securely direct ships in the port on an island at the end of a 3/4-mile-long man-made causeway. The pharaohs might have been taller than the Statue of Liberty at 400 feet. For more than 1,500 years, the pharaohs stood. There had never been anything like that in all that time. The Pharos is unlike anything that has ever existed before or since. Even after 2 millennia, it remains the best lighthouse ever constructed. In fact, in many languages, the word Pharos still means lighthouse. There may never be a complete understanding of the Pharos secrets. Erotic Papyrus of Turin. However, there are even more sinister secrets, such as the most obscene papyrus ever discovered. The Turin Erotic Papyrus, a controversial discovery, comes in at number 8. An interesting earthenware vessel was discovered by a local farmer close to the Valley of the Kings around the start of the 11,800s. Something was concealed within. It was an old papyrus that rocked Egyptology to its foundations, and that's it. These 3,000-year-old scroll fragments are more than 8 feet long. Because it is housed in a museum in Turin, Italy, it is known as the Turin Erotic Papyrus. Additionally, only adults are advised to use it. We are only allowed to display samples of this content, since it is deemed so offensive. In my opinion, the Turin Erotic Papyrus is just astounding, even if I have seen a lot of old erotic art in my lifetime. In essence, everything that is possible is occurring. It makes the ancient top 10 list for this reason. It modifies our perception of ancient Egypt and makes it more relatable. I can't think of another discovery that has taught us more about the ancient Egyptians than this scroll. Given this viewpoint, we can see that the Egyptians were just as spiritual as we are, but they also shared our humanity and desires. And that kind of reassures me. The Incomplete Obelisk. The Unfinished Obelisk, a more G-rated secret, comes in at number 7. One of ancient Egypt's most remarkable engineering achievements. Large stone constructions were called obelisks. They were monoliths that could be seen across Egypt. They were simply amazing. Obelisks were enormous pillars that faced Ra, the sun deity. The largest obelisk is located in a quarry in Aswan, southern Egypt, but it is still anchored to the bedrock. It would have been almost as tall as Niagara Falls if it had been completed and built. Since it would have been the greatest solid obelisk in history, it justifies its inclusion on the ancient top 10 list, supporting the idea that the ancient Egyptians were master builders. This is 1954 Giza. A completely buried ship in the desert was an incredible discovery. Ship Khufu. It is our 6th secret. The Ship of Khufu. In a pit cut out of the solid bedrock, the antique ship was interred circa 2500 BC, the oldest surviving ship in the world, measuring 143 feet in length and slightly less than 20 feet in width, is being housed in a specially constructed museum at Giza. The construction of this ship was remarkable. No fittings or fixtures were present. All of it was tied together with rope and held together by exquisitely made joints. It was entirely seaworthy and had a sleek, lovely design. However, why was it buried in the desert? For what purpose? Being a funeral barge, the Khufu ship never really set sail. The purpose of the ship was to carry the deceased pharaoh to his celestial home. It's in my top 10 because it completely changed how we thought about sailing 4,500 years ago. Abu Simbel. However, something that was a mountain-sized underground secret comes in at number 5 on our list. A little Egyptian child led some archaeologists to a rock face close to his town at the beginning of the 1800s. The shifting sands had revealed some odd engravings that he had discovered. After their return, the archaeologists started excavating. The result was one of the world's most magnificent structures. It was as tall as a 10-story building and was carved directly into the rock face. Abu Simbel, a massive 13th century BC temple. Its dedication to one of the greatest pharaohs makes it, very rightly, one of the greatest structures in ancient Egypt. Ramses II, commonly referred to as Ramses the Great, was the pharaoh. He ruled for more than 70 years and was the most powerful pharaoh in history. The entire project was completed in roughly 20 years. Naturally, this predates the era of contemporary equipment by a significant margin. The particular method by which they accomplished this is still a mystery to us. Abu Simbel merits a spot on the list because it demonstrates the pharaohs and ancient Egypt's might. Mothers. Now that we've reached the top 4, it's time for a startling mystery that has come to represent ancient Egypt and is a common theme in horror movies. If you ask someone what they think of when you say ancient Egypt, I'll wager that they mention mummies. The preserved remains of the deceased are known as mummies. Preservation, according to the ancient Egyptians, meant that the body would continue to exist in the afterlife. They held that although the soul left the body after death, it would return to it at night to take on fresh life. The body has to be kept because of this. The process of mummification was quite complex. With surgical precision, every organ was removed, including the brain, which was taken out through the nose. To preserve the flesh and dry them out, they would immerse the bodies in vats of chemicals. And there was salt all over the body. Its preservation depended on this. Although mummies have influenced our perception of Egyptians' attitudes toward the afterlife, our next secret contributed to the unraveling of the mysteries surrounding ancient Egypt's land of the living. Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone was the secret that opened ancient Egypt. Experts were able to decipher hieroglyphics because of this rock. 3 bands of lettering, one above the other, are present on the Rosetta Stone. Classical scholars were able to read the ancient Greek once it was discovered. It was interpreted as a list of the pharaoh's good deeds, and the necessary breakthrough was ultimately provided by the name of the monarch, Ptolemy. Since his name was revealed in the hieroglyphs, we were able to decipher what the hieroglyphs were trying to express, because the same information was written in all 3 languages. You may learn about the entire history of ancient Egypt from it. All of Egypt's hieroglyphs suddenly became readable. Despite its diminutive size, the Rosetta Stone revealed a great deal. One of the greatest construction projects ever just missed the top spot. Number 2 on the list, pyramids are involved. From Central and South America to the Middle East, and even Asia, ancient pyramids may be discovered all over the world. However, no one constructed them as elaborately or on the same size as the Egyptians. There are many more pyramids in Egypt than the 3 well-known ones at Giza, as this map illustrates. In actuality, more than 100 historic pyramids remain intact throughout Egypt. Imhotep, the man who designed the first pyramid, was so significant to the Egyptians that they elevated him to the status of a god. The most recognizable representation of ancient Egypt, the pyramids were a genuinely amazing feat. Pyramids may still be seen everywhere, including on the dollar bill. However, for more than 3,000 years, the next item on our list had its brilliance concealed. The greatest, most amazing, and most magnificent secret of all. Treasures. Some of the items found in one of the most incredible archaeological finds in history rank first. It is the treasure found in Tutankhamun's tomb. No one could have imagined the richness. 6 war chariots, 2 thrones, jewelry, everything the new pharaoh would require in the afterlife, and more. There was an even larger prize within this gilded coffin. It was a 3,000-year-old pharaoh's face. The beautiful golden death mask of Tutankhamun was now a known secret of Egypt. There were exquisite stones all over Tut's death mask. Afghanistan's lapis lazuli is a gorgeous shade of blue. The eyes that crossed the Mediterranean were filled with quartz and obsidian. It is a work of ancient art and weighs 24 pounds. We can truly experience the pharaoh's might, as well as the strength and splendor of ancient Egypt, because of this unimagined secret discovery. Egypt is unlike any culture that has existed before or after. Its amazing riches and buildings are unmatched. It is a realm of secrets and mystery that will continue to astound and enchant for thousands of years to come. We are truly grateful that you followed our video through to the very end. Subscribe to our channel if you have a strong interest in history and would like to see more engaging and educational videos. We'll keep providing you with more incredible historical events and tales.